Hi guys, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Natasha.
And we were wondering,
are you free for coffee?
Welcome.
Ooh.
Okay, there's a new hit show on Netflix called Adolescence. And it is about incel culture. It's about a young boy, a child really, a 13-year-old.
Yeah, a teen, I guess you could say.
Of killing a classmate. So I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but there you go. So what is incel culture? This is a term associated with mostly online, mostly white males, because they're not men alone.
Yeah, they're young.
Heterosexuals who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner, despite desiring one, and who blame, objectify, and denigrate women. Incel, it stands for involuntary celibacy. They have been linked in violence and hate groups, many of the chat rooms they frequent, discussing idleness, loneliness, unhappiness, suicide, sexual surrogates, prostitution, and they believe that men are entitled to sex. So they are angry that they can't find a partner, and they focus on the women, like put the anger towards the women.
Yes.
So be sure and watch that. But
it's wild though, guys. This is not a warm and fuzzy at all.
No.
So just
no.
Yeah, it's a thinker.
This is just help for parents, I feel. And I would say it's for both, if you have sons or daughters.
Oh, I agree. It's for both.
It would be for both. So, do away with yes culture.
Yes.
In your home. Learn to say no to your children. A lot of it is they can't take rejection.
Yep.
So, you know, no, you can't go out on a school night. No, you can't hang out with Johnny. No, you can't have ice cream before dinner. They need to hear no. I cannot tell you how many parents I know that it's like they break out in a cold sweat.
Oh yeah, they're afraid to say no.
Say no. And my kids are grown, so this tell you how long it's been going on. I have even had the experience where they defer to me. Like, you tell them no, and maybe I ain't got a problem.
Yeah. I have parents that are like, can they have ice cream? And I'm like, no, I've already said no. And they're looking at me, I'm thinking.
Or even with their own kids.
I know. They're looking at me, they don't want to say it.
That's a no.
Yeah.
So, learn to say no. And everybody doesn't get a prize.
Okay.
No, only the top kids. Everybody doesn't get a present when it's not your birthday. It's this kid's birthday. So, you just practice. 2, find something your kid excels in.
Yes.
Lean into their bent. And you know your kid, if you don't, you need to. They're good at something. Whatever that is, if it's sports, if you don't have a sporty kid, maybe you have a musical kid. Yep. Maybe you have a kid that's into robotics or swim, I don't know what all the clubs are now, but whatever it is, find something that kid is good at and lean into that. 3, pressure politicians and schools and teachers to regulate online platforms for children.
Yes.
So maybe we don't need phones at school. Maybe you can't get on the computer for I don't even know what all Snapchat, Instagram, what all the different things are. And parents limit online access for your kids. Yes. Back again to no, and take it away. Teach kindness and empathy. And practice it in your family. Yes. Volunteer at Ronald McDonald House.
Yes.
Go to food banks.
Yes.
If your church has something that they're doing.
Because that teaches them not just empathy in play, right, in action, but then they get to see, because some of this is, I don't know how to talk to girls. I don't know how to talk to people. Well, get them out. Get them away from just your at-home life. And I hate to go anywhere. Y'all know I'm a do-gooder, like a few of Lisa's kids, and my job is, doing good. And you just see people stand there with their phone like this. Like they'll bring their teenagers, they'll bring their kids, and the kids are like this.
Yeah,
I could never. Away. If my mom brought me to a soup kitchen, or my mom used to help with canned food drives, baby, we were
working.
helping, we were
Right.
working,
Right.
and then you're talking to people, and you're yes ma'am, you're no ma'am,
and talk to kids about the online situations. If somebody says something mean, if somebody, I don't even know what they're doing,
and even tell them that this isn't real.
Right. Talk to them about that. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? They've got a problem. That's
Right.
that's a them problem,
Right.
not a you.
Right.
You just keep talking to your kids. Keep an open dialogue. And share your stories.
Yes.
Child, back in the day, I got dumped. I mean, all the they need to know that you are not unique.
They do.
This is not a unique situation.
Not at all.
Right.
People have been getting dumped
Forever.
since Jesus was
forever. And practice your faith, whatever that is. I'm not telling you, I'm not proselytizing.
And some of this is, and we try. I feel like we try our best not to come down on parents, but as a parent of 3 kids, close in age, very young, when my kids are sick, I'm really juggling because they're babies. I need you to still get to know your kids.
Yes, you do.
Because I know which one of my kids will struggle with rejection and which one of my kids is like, Because I have 2 kids that are like,
whatever.
Okay, well, whatever. Aunt Lisa said I look cute in this. And then I have one kid where I'm already leaning into
building your self-esteem.
Yeah. The irony of that kid, it's my son, and my son is in love with Lisa's granddaughter. Lisa's granddaughter can write her name. She never doesn't get a sticker. She's just like the model student. And my son comes home, she won't be my girlfriend because I can't write my name. And I said, then sit down and practice writing your name. And he was like,
they're preschool, y'all.
They're preschool, y'all. They're little. They've got plenty of time. I was like, practice writing your name.
Because Holland ain't too much into anybody.
No, she could care less. It's not my son's fault. Like she is so far above that. Like I literally aspire to be this little girl. But to the point, instead of coddling him, oh, she doesn't know what she's missing. Practice writing your name.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want a dumb boy.
And I used to tell my parents, nothing worse than a pretty dumb girl.
I mean, so, they open their mouth and suddenly you're like, oh.
That's why you keep the conversations going.
That's it.
If your child is being bullied, intervene. And
Absolutely.
you might need to change schools. Don't blow it off.
No.
It's not a big deal.
Don't expect them to handle it. This is your child.
And I had a friend recently had a situation and the school did absolutely nothing. And she took her kid out.
Yep.
And I kudos.
Yes.
Kudos. Be that
do
what
parent.
you need to do.
Yeah.
And if your kid is a bully, get them help.
Yes.
Get them some help.
Yes.
7, make sure your kids have positive role models. And just because a parent is in the home, it could be dad or mom, either one. That doesn't mean that they're a positive role model or that they're even engaged with that child.
Because a lot of times they're busy working to support the household.
Right.
Be it mom or dad.
Right. And, they could be going through a season of really intense stuff at work and you're just really focused. Whatever it is, have the other, I used to call them other mothers, but it's other dads too, that can speak into your children's lives because sometimes they can't receive it from you, but they will receive it from a friend.
Yes.
And your friends' kids, your nieces and nephews, the young people in your life, talk to them and give them little nuggets and just you just don't know how far that goes. Talk to your kids about what it takes to be a self-sufficient, productive adult. Help them cultivate those skills. When my kids were 4th and 5th grade, I used to tell them, look, I done passed the 5th grade. I'm trying to help you catch up. I just let them know. Like, this is an expectation. You need to pass. And, I would talk to them about that.
Yeah.
Like, you need to do this. You're going to have to, a good one is with older kids. And I guess it'd be online now. You don't write a lot of checks anymore, but you can let them write out checks.
Okay, but
or get online, however that you pay your bills, to see
the process.
What comes in, what goes out.
But now, speaking to writing checks, because let's not pretend like checks don't exist. There's a guy, I just saw this was on the news. There were actually, funny enough, there were a few things with this on the news yesterday. One of them was the average 14-year-old boy has seen more hardcore porn in the last 6 months than a 36-year-old man has seen in his entire life. And they were saying how that plays into this, like they're just at home and they're glued to whatever screen it is. But this guy is trying to kind of get people out of this. And his thing is, I will give you $1 million if you can make the checkout to yourself. So far, and they were showing all the interviews, just clips. One little girl, one 14-year-old girl got $2 million because she could make the check to herself. And he said, I'll give your parents $1 million if you can make the check to them. One girl. He's interviewed dozens of children. You can't write $1 million check, sir. Find me, because I can write one to me, to Lisa, to everybody. So children still need to know this. They need to understand taxes, not in depth, but they need to know that this exists and this is how it works. They need to know how to write a check. They need to know how to address an envelope. There was another story that I learned of. This was when I worked for CPS, of a child who found a postcard that was pre-stamped. The child had been kidnapped for years. They wrote a postcard home.
Oh, okay.
That was how they wrote a postcard home, managed to sneak it in with the mail. You can't do that if you don't know how to write it. If you don't know how to do. So these things, I think we tell ourselves like this is antiquated or this is out of date, but it's not. They need to know this.
Along with this, have the birds and bees talk with your kids. Please. And talk. I remember one of my sons, and I guess it was probably junior high, maybe high school. The assignment was the parent to, it was the sons, and it was my husband that did. I think it was the dad write a letter to the son telling him what to look for in a spouse.
Oh, I love that.
And it was really, detailed. All the things. Yeah. Make sure she rocks your world.
Yeah.
Make sure she.
Not Will Trent. What's our guy? Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't feel like you've been struck by lightning.
So all the things, and that lets him know, because these boys or young men have this thing that love is unconditional, and it's not. There's some things you have to do.
Baby, there's some stipulations
that people want in a partner.
Yes.
And
there's expectations.
Those are the things that you can, that's part of being an adult.
Yes.
So that ties into that. Don't, they'll just learn it, whatever. I have a friend that took all 3 of her kids. They had a family tradition. I don't know exactly how old they were, but when they were old enough to hear the talk, they took each kid to the mansion.
Okay.
Hotel, had dinner, and made it very special.
Okay, I like that.
Have the talk.
Yeah.
And then letting them know this is not just a physical thing. This is your person.
Right.
This is somebody who you have a connection with.
And so this should be valuable and it should be treated as such.
Right. And so that all ties into this, because they have this weird concept of what they're owed.
Yes.
And then they have to be hot, and they have to be all the things that really don't matter.
And all the things that they're not.
And they're not having relationships.
No.
No.
They just expect to show up and they have an Insta girlfriend.
We all had boyfriends and girlfriends. But those are making connections.
Yes.
Those are the connections. Yes. And
they're missing that.
They're missing that.
Yeah.
And it's not about the prettiest girl always, or the shapeliest girl, or the tallest boy, or the boy. Now, of course, there's always those. The quarterback always is with the cheerleader.
Right.
I mean, of course, we know that. But everybody else is paired up too.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning of that. Yeah. Knowing what's valuable.
And if you're missing that,
knowing a person, what kindness and thoughtfulness and all those things. So that all ties into that. Make sure that kids have what they need to feel attractive.
Yes.
And that is not superficial.
No, it's not.
Everybody on first meeting, all they see is
your
the
parents.
outside.
That's it.
So,
and parents, I'm going to challenge you, and aunts too, because I love being rich aunt. I don't mind throwing a little money at something. If you were, because I was very picked on as a child. I was very bullied as a child. I've always been funny and outgoing and kind to people. But I was the funky kid. And I was the kid that, like, I needed deodorant as a kid. But my mom is in her 80s. So as you can imagine, because there's this ginormous age gap, when my mom was a teen, deodorant literally didn't exist.
Oh yeah, I remember my grandmother was...
She had like a little powder puff thing, and that was for her wedding. She received that for her wedding, like, stay fresh. Like, so she's receiving this for her wedding at 19 years old. So to her, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old doesn't need
you
deodorant.
don't need that, yeah.
And you do.
And you might.
You might.
Yeah.
And here's my argument, because my kids have, I will actually link it on this episode. It's like this all natural, won't do anything to them, but it does help. Because I want them in the habit of wearing deodorant.
Right. And hygiene, that's the thing
Yes.
to get into them with.
Yeah.
You know, make sure their clothes are presentable and flattering. If there's, there's always something
brand.
new, something cool that everybody's wearing. And now I have 2 kids that absolutely don't care. They do
but you
not
have 2
care.
kids that
I have
do.
2 that do.
Yeah.
So if your kid is one of those and you can afford it, or if you can save up, that's something.
And let them do chores.
Right. Or earn money some kind of way. But, maybe try to do that. Make sure they have all the hair products they need, the face stuff. Make sure... acne at that age is really debilitating, but there's so much now they have.
Proactive work, y'all.
Wonderfully. All kinds of things. Yeah. So make sure your kids have what they need to feel good about themselves.
Yes, I agree.
And history. So for both boys and girls, there are wonderful historical figures that maybe weren't the prettiest, that maybe weren't the most attractive, but had wildly successful lives.
Yes.
So it's, they kind of lean into the physicality,
right?
Where, think of Tyler Perry, although he's very attractive, but had a very hard life coming up. Aristotle Onassis, but was a little man, not attractive at all, but the confidence he just threw off. I mean, just looking at pictures, okay. Churchill, talk to them about destiny and purpose, and which has nothing to do with how you look. Now, I'm not saying that you can be funky and unkempt. You still need to do those things.
Because those are the things you can change.
Right. But you might not be the most handsome person or the prettiest girl or whatever. But that does not mean you're not attractive, you're not worthy of love, because you are, and that you don't have a purpose or a destiny.
Because you definitely do.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the biggest one. Be in their business. Y'all now in this movie, one of the things, he had the computer on, I just tell him lights out. Baby, I'm in the room. What you looking at? Let me see.
You know what? Some of y'all ain't never had a black mom, and you've never known one.
This is a black mama moment.
It is.
My oldest son.
You don't have no business.
Told me to stay out of his business. But baby, you ain't got no business. All your business is my business.
We love you, Teddy.
And when you crawl out my pocket, that is when you have your business. But I mean, the Columbine, those kids were building a bomb. One of them in the basement.
In the basement of their parents' house.
Get in their business.
Yeah.
If you, privacy is when you pay rent.
Baby, you ain't paid for no privacy.
That's it.
I don't even understand.
If I got to be in your number, if I'm suspected that you doing something, baby, I'm in it. I'm in it. Don't put that in your drawers or in your backpack.
You mean my drawers? You mean my backpack?
That's it.
Because Natasha paying for that.
Get in their business, because some of it is when the stuff blows up and then you're like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You need to know.
But it's 2 old sayings. Number 1, when the cat's away, the mice will play. Some of y'all ain't been around the mice in years, and you're wondering why they're turned out the way
took over the house.
They've took over.
Yeah.
And an idle mind is the devil's playground. You don't have to have an athletic kid.
Keep them busy.
Lisa makes fun of me. I was very athletic at a very young age. I'm looking for home videos because my kids, I'm not sure, belong to me. They are the least athletic children I've ever met in my life.
And then I'm the opposite. I'm not athletic.
Lisa's not
my
athletic.
Spouse is not athletic.
No.
But
y'all are both smart.
But the kids, some of the kids.
Yeah, some of your kids are very, very. But no matter what their thing is,
find it
and
do it. Lean.
Now I thought
hard. Lead into it.
I thought I was going to be a sports mom. I was ready, guys. My tennis shoe, like my sneaker collection. I was ready. Girl, if you saw them. But that's okay. Like, I know what they're into, and I let them express themselves in that area, and we lean into.
And sometimes they dabble.
Yeah,
that's okay.
And sometimes they dabble.
Try this. Now, I would make them finish because they need to learn about you doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah,
now, this might be hard, but you can do hard things. You can get through this semester or whatever it is. But find something that find their passion.
Because that helps guide their purpose. That helps guide them to whatever their purpose is. Some of y'all just park these babies in front of the TV. And I don't know what you think they're going to learn from that. And I get that it gives you a few minutes and it gives you some time.
And I ain't mad at that for a little bit. But TV can't raise your kids.
Right. And some of y'all between school and the television, you're thinking these kids are getting raised and they're not.
Yes.
They're not, and they deserve better than that, and you want them to have a better outcome than that. You don't want to look back and think, I should have been more involved.
Yeah. Well, I encourage you to watch this show. I had a lot of aha moments, and that's why I kind of wrote the little list, because I'm like ding, 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 mess up
Lights
there,
out.
ding, 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 shouldn't have done that.
Didn't know what was on the screen.
All the things. So, and I'm not blaming, the parents, and
no.
it's fiction, but this has happened. We all know this has happened all across the country.
Yeah.
There's the kids that do these violent acts have parents, and oftentimes good parents, well-meaning parents who love them. But the thing is with kids, you don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
If you mess that up, you guys, so
that's it.
It's a dangerous job.
Yeah.
So don't take it.
Don't take it lightly.
Think you can. Yeah. You don't think you can do it. So, you love your kids. You are not your kid's friend. That's not. They got friends.
Yeah.
They need you to get them over the finish line to be productive,
contributing
adults.
Members of society.
So, this is some help. Let us know your thoughts on the show. It's very sobering.
It is.
It's a big issue, but you're up for it. You're up for the job.
Yeah. And you have tools like this to say, oh, wait a minute, I didn't think about that. Let me kind of reframe my mind, and then you build your village. That's building their village as well, but you've got more eyes on them, and you have friends that tell you, no, maybe not, or maybe read this, or then you have help too. And that's it's what every parent needs. That's it. Okay, loves, thank you for pulling up a chair and joining us for coffee. Please subscribe to Are You Free for Coffee podcast wherever you are listening. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode and find joy in the little things. Until next time.
Bye-bye.